Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, the strong style nerd, strong style cinephile. So we got our first look at Morbius, the Jared Leto vehicle from Sony, the guys who kind of lucked into a box office, not so much critical, but box office hit in Venom as they look at ways to expand their Spider-Man universe using characters other than Spider-Man to make movies. So let us geek about that for a scant few minutes. Now, of course, Morbius is a character that first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man number 101 in October of 1971. Of course, he's played a number of different roles over the lifetime of his character, but this is the first time that I believe there's been a live-action attempt for him. He appeared in the Fox Spider-Man animated series as a guy who was reluctantly stuck with this condition where he needs to absorb plasma. They said plasma in the Fox cartoon, but of course we know it's blood. He's a vampire. And in this teaser, we see that Morbius is a doctor. He's got some disease, some ailment within himself. He goes looking for a cure, uses unconventional methods. Things happen. He gets turned into a blood-sucking vampire. That's going to be the gist of it. I imagine there's a larger plot at work to it, but that's the gist. That's kind of laid out to us in this teaser. That's what we can glean from, what we see in the trailer. I'm not super excited about Morbius. I'm not super excited about Sony's efforts to do characters outside of Spider-Man. We know from the leaked emails from some time ago that they were looking at a Silver Sable Black Cat spinoff, which I was actually looking forward to seeing that. I remember there was talks about them doing like an Aunt May spinoff, like a prequel of Aunt May, which would have been just stupid and just kind of outlined highlighted the fact that Sony really doesn't know what they're doing. They're just trying to throw a bunch of crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like I said, they kind of lucked into Venom being a box office success enough to warrant a sequel, which I think is in some semblance of production now. And then along comes Morbius, the latest in their spin-off efforts. Like I said, not super excited. Remains to be seen how it will turn out. It has more of a horror slant to it, which I think could work for them if they want to get away from the Marvel sort of formula that everybody keeps on hammering Marvel for having, and just doing something different, kind of like, I guess, what people are thinking that New Mutants is supposed to be, just something a little bit different, a little bit outside the norm, the superhero norm, which is fine. I'm all for those types of things. Like Swamp Thing was not a comic book type, it was a comic book character from DC, but on DC Universe, the show wasn't cookie cutter superhero type stuff. I was a fan of that. I think there's no problem with different projects offering a different sort of slant, a different genre, dipping into a different genre to tell their story. So if they're dipping into a horror slanted genre, that could work out for them. And of course, we see the graffiti of Spider-Man, which has it connected to the Spider-Man movies, although the image looks to be like the Sam Raimi looking Spider-Man suit, but it also has murderer scrawled across it, which of course spins out of Spider-Man Far From Home, where Mysterio ends up getting killed, frames Spider-Man for it, and also reveals his identity as Peter Parker. So I'm wondering if that will be the only thing we see from that, just visual sort of Easter eggs, or will there be any sort of like news reports or anything like that that kind of follow up on the events of Far From Home and kind of carry us over to the eventual, third movie. The kicker at the end was Michael Keaton, who was, of course, the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. He has some banter with Morbius, so kind of has people kind of wondering, okay, are they indeed connected? Clearly, they might be, or at least they want to play with the idea of that. Maybe they're just trying to suck in some of the MCU fans who aren't exactly Sony fans and get them in the theater to watch this movie. Remains to be seen. Jared Leto's a good enough actor, I think, to be leading this movie. Whether or not the movie's actually good from a plot standpoint, who knows? It's got, of course, Matt Smith, who was the 11th Doctor, so might buy a ticket just to see him, just because I love everything Doctor Who. But ultimately what it does remains to be seen. This is just an early teaser. Like I said, kind of laid out the plot for us so we can get enough crumbs for us to put together what the plot's going to be. Just, I guess it comes down to performances and how the movie looks, how the movie sounds, and just it remains to be seen. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Follow me on social media. So many things going on. Crisis. It finishes tomorrow. We'll talk about that shortly. Meantime, let us geek.